Okay, what the fuckers, big news, the WTF iPhone app is here. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, this is the easiest, most convenient way to listen to WTF with me, Marc Maron. Here's what you do. Download the app for just 99 cents, and you'll be able to play the 10 most recent episodes of What the Fuck right away. Instant access. Just touch and play, man. You also have the option to download them right to your device. And it's a quick way to get in touch with me, too. There's easy access to our Twitter feed, and you can email the show directly with one click on the app. Holy shit, I gotta get this app. Now, if you want the full WTF experience on your iPhone or iPad, you can upgrade your app and get instant access to every single episode. That's all of them. That's the back ones. That's all of them. And that's more than 100 episodes of What the Fuck and counting, people. Instantly streaming right on your device that you're holding right now. You'll also get exclusive bonus content, downloadable wallpaper, and a notification every time there's a new episode. Shit, this sounds fucking excellent. Go to the iTunes store and type WTF with Marc Maron into the search bar. Do it now.
Lock the gate!
Are we doing this? Really? Wait for it. Are we doing this? Wait for it.
Ow!
What the fuck?
WTF.
And it's also, what the fuck?
What's wrong with me? It's time for WTF.
What the fuck?
With Marc Maron.
Okay, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fuckineers, what the fucknicks? Where the fuck are you? Seriously, where are you right now? Because I can tell you where I am. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm in a hotel overlooking a park that looks unfinished or something. I don't know what's going on here. I'm not. It's not that I'm not having a good time in Texas. I've been here before. I've been to, I grew up next door in New Mexico. I've traveled to Texas. I've had some fairly horrendous times in Texas. There was let's go over them, shall we? Okay, how about the time I was in San Antonio working at the River Center Comedy Club at right there on the Riverwalk in San Antonio, and they put me up in a condo that really looked like it had not been cleaned in 6 years. There's nothing more disgusting than a fake leather couch that has rips in it so the foam's coming out and it's sticky. Yeah, that happened. And a rug, when rugs get to a point where they no longer look like it's possible to clean them and you have no idea what went on in that rug. And also bed sheets that are, I can't even go there anymore. I'm done with that. All I know is I remembered looking out over the Riverwalk, in and of itself, a parade of the obese. I thought, how did this happen? Why am I here? What have I done, God? Was it that I didn't believe in you? Is this some sort of Jobian adventure you're putting me through? What is next? What could possibly be next? And on that particular night, what was next was 4 people showed up at the show. 2 of them were a couple, and they heckled. So that was that night. Now this is different. Oh, look, there's a guy in a tie throwing a football to a fella dressed in a football uniform in this small park in the middle of downtown Dallas. And it seems to be some sort of predatory situation here going. There seems to be several parking meters around the park, and they have these little shaded areas in the park. And perched in the shaded areas seem to be traffic cops. So this is some sort of setup for people who may be a minute or two over. This is look, there's a Doberman Pinscher with a woman who looks like she should own a Doberman Pinscher. That happens. I don't know what's going on, but I've seen it before. And I just want to be clear, I'm staying at a hotel here in Dallas, Texas, severely landlocked, that has a nautical theme. I don't understand any of it. All I know is that wherever I'm staying, the area seems somewhat abandoned, and there seems to be an amazing amount of Texan fat around. I saw 2 of the fattest policemen I've ever seen in my life, and they were women. Not that that makes it different. That's not a sexist statement. It's more of a statement about fat policemen. I mean, how can you keep a city safe if you can't run? Am I wrong? And then someone told me that they have the highest murder rate in the country right here in Dallas. Well, that's because you could probably shoot somebody within, throwing distance of a cop and just run slowly, maybe at a light jog, and get off scot-free. That actually would encourage murderers to challenge the police to catch them. I'm a little lost. I'm a little tired. I'm a little overwhelmed. I've been working very hard, and now I seem to be the guy that goes out on the road with a big duffel bag full of merch. That's right. I'm traveling with my T-shirts now to gigs, which I never did. I never brought CDs. I never brought T-shirts because I just didn't have the confidence to deal with it. I didn't have the confidence to be rejected for my merchandise. But now it's become a necessity. I have become salesman. I have become traveling salesman. I am a sort of, slightly funnier Willie Loman character now, without the sons or the baggage or the lying or the secret affairs or the whatever else that fucking play was supposed to mean. I watched it once. Dustin Hoffman was good. I liked John Malkovich's Biff. But, I appreciated the part where don't ever pick up a pen or something like that, and then Dustin Hoffman does it to show that, he's really talking shit, and it's just this American archetype, the salesman, the middle-of-the-road guy, the guy that really doesn't have a life, that pretends he has a life, so his kids think he's something special, but secretly he's just a sad loser who screws around on his wife and doesn't really sell that much, and his entire life has been a lie, and the whole mythology of the businessman as romantic figure in American literature and life is just deconstructed by Arthur Miller, a Jew who was lucky enough to marry Marilyn Monroe for a little while. Is that pretty much it? I'm not clear. I would like to say, though, in Austin last night, we had a great show. You'll hear that soon. It will be available. It was the Live in Austin WTF, which was the first real sort of live WTF roadshow we did with regional comics, and all of them were really great. But there was some sort of weird existential theme, some sort of heightened self-awareness that I have found in my career does not necessarily lead to droves of people coming out, though the crowd was great. I really don't know what to expect here in Dallas. I've got a bit of the creeps. I got something I'm going to call from this point on the Texas creeps. I drove from Austin to Dallas with Ashley the intern. It was very exciting. We listened to music with a small device that you hook onto an iPod that then hijacks an FM station. But every time it's interesting because while we were doing it, we were listening to music, and every time that it would start to fade, all of a sudden it'd break up, and all of a sudden you'd hear like Christ the Lord or Amen, or in this scripture, nothing but Christian radio out in the middle of Texas, to the point where that landscape, given the number of rusted out cars and strange businesses that you drive by and you have a moment where you look at them and go, who the fuck goes there? What are they doing in that strange industrial area? How can you just manufacture round huts? Do people buy that? Look at that. That is a place that only manufactures things that you can hook targets up to shoot at. That there is a bleakness to the Texan landscape where, 2 hours into the 3-hour trip, I was thinking about Jesus. I was thinking that Jesus may be a reasonable alternative than even driving through Texas, let alone living there. But again, I don't want to condescend. I don't want to say that Texas is a bad place, because we all know that they think it is the only place, the Texans, again, not condescending. I'm looking forward to being proven wrong tonight that Dallas is not creepy, and that there's a lot to be had here. There's culture and history, and oh, look at that. There's two ladies with that Doberman now. Again, that's not surprising to me. And there's no stereotype there. You can do with it what you want. But it's not something unfamiliar to me. The two women with a large dog scenario. And I just mean that casually, not in any personal sense. It's not something I've experienced by walking into an apartment with somebody and saying, whoa, what's with the dog? And who's that chick? I'm just saying, sitting here at the window. At both times I've been in Texas, and I've been sort of bleak and existentially challenged, and in a window, I feel like some sort of lone assassin of some kind. And it seems that what I've done here is assassinated the culture of Texas, and I don't want to do that. I do know that George W. Bush lives here. I wonder if he's in the phone book. Maybe I should just drive by. That would be interesting. He can't be doing much. He's probably just sitting there. I picture George W. Bush, when I picture him like post-presidency, what's he doing? And I picture him asking himself the same question on a couch alone, maybe watching a little television, occasionally getting up, walking around the house, maybe chuckling at a picture of him with a foreign dignitary from his time as president, and then sitting back down, never once thinking about the situation that he left this country in. Don't want to get political, but that's how I picture it. So this is Marc Maron reporting from Dallas. Now I'd like us to get into a conversation that I had with Sarah Silverman, the lovely and filthy Sarah Silverman, who I've known, it feels like, since she was 15. But that's not true. Maybe that's just some fantasy of mine. I don't know, but I talked to her at her Beverly Hills apartment, and I believe it was a fine conversation. So let's enjoy that now. This is Marc Maron coming to you from Texas. What do I have to plug? I don't have my book in front of me. I'm going to be at the Punchline in San Francisco in November. I'm going to be in Cincinnati at Go Bananas also in November. That's the first and second week of November. First week, Cincinnati. Second week, Punchline. And there's probably more to plug, but I haven't got anything on it right now. I'm going to lay down in my captain's bed here in the nautically themed hotel. I don't want to mention the name, even though I'll be gone for 2 days by the time this airs. I just don't want to slander such a lovely... Oh, there's pineapples. There's pineapples on the comforter. Okie doke. Enjoy Sarah Silverman. Sarah Silverman's apartment is where we're at. I don't think we're going to swim. It's a little chilly. Am I wrong? Would you do it?
I will swim. I think Tall John is coming over at 4. He wants to swim.
Who's Tall John?
You don't know Tall John?
How am I supposed to know Tall
I don't
John?
know. You know what? I just assumed because I've known you for so many years that you know everyone I know.
Oh, I think I missed a good...
Oh, shit, yeah, William.
I missed a big section of your life. The
Yes.
part where Tall John came in.
Yes, Tall John is, I would say he's my best friend or one of my top 2 to 3 best friends.
Really? What does he do?
He wrote for my show. He's a writer. He writes for an
what's
animated show called Bob's Burgers now.
What's his whole name?
John Schrader.
Maybe I met him.
But he's 6'10".
6'10".
Yeah.
He's a giant. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't say maybe I met him. I would definitely remember meeting that guy.
Yeah, he always says he's like really shy and sweet, you know. I mean, but he used to always say like, I know what it's like to be famous because when I walk into a room, people stare at me and it's awkward. But it's true. He's one of those guys that when he walks into a room, people go like, look how fucking tall that guy is.
Well, 6'10" is freakish.
Yeah, it's a handicap.
Yeah. Does he have giant feet too? Does he walk normal?
He walks normal, but you know, if we go to anywhere where you sit, like a play or a movie or an airplane, he's got to be on the aisle. I mean, you know.
He's also got to be in the back too, where people are going to hate him.
And he never, like, any show he goes that's like standing room, like he just goes to the way back because he's so polite, you know. Like
that's so sad.
Yeah.
That a guy...
And he also says, you know, like, tall people die early, they don't live long.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know, and then I was like, that's not true. And then he sent me, like, links to...
Statistics?
Yeah.
Of people dying because they're tall?
Yeah.
You know, someone sent me a link to a picture that we did for New York Magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that picture?
It was in my book. Do you want me to show you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Am I in your book
that.
then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy for me? Since I'm pressed.
I think so. There's probably like 1 or 2 left.
Do you have a big box of them?
I did, but
did it take a lot out of you?
It did, and I'm really happy with it, and I'm happy with how it was reviewed. But I don't think it was like I'm not for everyone. It turns out.
Yeah,
and I've always seemed to know that.
I find that about me as well.
Luckily, they didn't know that when they asked me to write a book.
Oh, they knew exactly who you were. There's no mysteries about who you are.
I'm lucky in that I've done commercials and made good money, and then the great part is they don't air because what happens is they do some research and find out that I'm popular, and so they pay me to do a commercial or a bunch of commercials like eBay did. And then they do a little more research and find out that I'm hated more than loved. You know, like more people.
You're famous.
Even more people hate me, and then they don't air it, and then it's great.
You're infamous.
Oh, yes, it is. Look at that. There you are.
Oh, there's that picture.
There it is. Isn't that funny? That's. I don't think that was in the magazine. That was like literally a. You know how like they'll just have Polaroids on the floor from test shots, and I took one. You know, I grabbed.
That's
one
what it looks like. That's right, because that wasn't the one in the magazine. So look at this. This is like, is this book an honest book about your life?
Yeah.
It is? Because Mark Cohen's in it.
Yep, there's Mark Cohen. There's the tampons that were on our wall in our early apartment.
When you lived with Mark Cohen?
No, I lived with Beth Tapper.
Oh. Who's the one roommate that everyone liked? The Princess Leia obsessed roommate?
Oh, Allison.
Yeah. Is she in the book?
Shit. I don't
You
think
forgot
she
to
is.
put her in there?
I just don't think there's a picture of her.
Oh,
I don't
there's your
know.
dad. I met your dad.
Yeah.
I met him.
There's a lot of pictures of my dad.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
There's a whole chapter of
Did
his
you ever
voicemails.
notice about how much your dad looks like several of your boyfriends?
Yeah, that's been pointed out to me, yeah.
But you didn't write about that?
No, because I don't think that's unique. I think that's but
Really?
he looks Alec, my current and final possibly boyfriend, says that
Ooh, are we breaking news? Are you engaged?
No,
Come on.
No, I'm not gonna
All
get
right.
married. But he thinks that my dad looks like Sam Waterston, which I love the idea of that.
Your dad looks a little like Sam Waterston. Your dad also looks like Mark Cohen and Dave Attell.
When my dad was young, he
Yeah.
looked just like when
Attell?
Dave Attell was young. Do you remember this roommate?
Of course I remember her. She was stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have sex with either of your roommates or you.
No, which is crazy.
It's
back
ridiculous.
Then, 'cause you rampaged.
Well, I rampaged a little bit, but how did we not have sex?
As
have I
did
asked you
I.
that?
As did I.
I know. I mean, can we go over that? How did I not make the list?
Because
Your
I'm not
list.
into. I love you, but like I'm not attracted, which most women are.
No.
To the kind of deep tortured thing.
Oh, you're not.
Well, I guess you could have called to tell that, I guess I am if you look at everyone I've ever dated.
But can we just
don't
talk
know.
about it now? Because I want to, do you believe that because you slept with so many clowns that it made you funnier? Did you learn from all the comics you dated? Anything?
I think I learned from all the comics and people I was surrounded by, just like we all did. Did you learn from all the waitresses you fucked?
I didn't fuck that many waitresses, but I learned something from all of the of women I had sex with. I just want to go because I'm hung up on this idea because I married a comedian, all right, and I'm no longer married to her, and I'm not hung up on that. I don't want to talk about that. But another comedian.
Wait, but you just brought it up, right? I didn't bring it up.
No,
You're saying you don't want to talk about it.
I'm building up to something
Okay,
here.
sorry.
Like somebody had said to her, a comedian who I don't need to. I can mention names. Felicia Michaels, who was married to
I
my.
remember her, yeah.
Sure, she was married to my. Used to be married to my old manager.
Becky.
Right.
Is she a photographer now? Or
She's a
something?
photographer,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she's also starting to do some stand-up. But she said to my wife before we got married about me, about being a comic and dating another comic. She told my wife to fuck me until she got funny. Like there was some.
What?
Yeah, she said, "Well, fuck him till you're funny. Fuck him till you get funny." Basically, her idea was that you just fuck the comedian until you get funny.
Well,
Now,
that's ugly.
it's ridiculous.
That's
right?
a bummer. I don't know. Do you think that if she was sitting here, she would say, "Yeah, I said that," or do you think that she had a different perspective on what she said?
Well, I think it was sort of a lighthearted comment, but being that we're all.
You know what's interesting about that?
What?
And I saw her, in a very midpoint in her career, your ex-wife, but I know that she would open for you a lot.
Yeah.
And this is nothing against her, but boy, she was such a little you. Like, how there's a bunch of little Attels out
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and there's a bunch of little Marc Marons. There's a
Couple.
bunch of,
Yeah.
but she was, definitely a little Marc Maron, and that's such a. It's something maybe you can't help in the beginning when you're first figuring out who you are, but geez,
Yeah, well,
you got to avoid that stuff.
Yeah, well, I think she quit altogether. But you had relationships, that were long going with Colin Quinn, David Tell, Mark
No,
Cohen.
Colin was like 3 months when I was 19, and we've been friends for the past 20 years since.
Okay, and then Dave was real.
Dave was that was like 5 years on and off of a very tumultuous sea of
And
love.
you were young.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mark Cohen was for a couple of years.
1 year.
And now here's the thing.
And
Now-
he's also, I've been friends with him for almost 20 years.
Yeah, he's sweet. Are you and Attell still okay?
We are okay now.
See, I have
There was a
theory.
long time where he would not talk to me.
I have
Way too many years where it was like, really? But that's his thing, and it was hard. For a long time, his was the name that if someone said it gave me that knot in my stomach.
Sadness?
Yeah, but because I adore him, But things are. I don't see him, and
Sure.
But when I do, he gives me a hug. It's nice to see him, and we've had occasional emails back and forth. It's nice. Yeah.
I interviewed him. I talked to him for about an hour and 15 minutes, and I really think that might be the longest anyone has ever talked to him. He doesn't talk to, he's not a big talker.
I just wish I hope he finds happiness because he deserves that.
Do you think he's looking for it?
No. No, well, that's all it takes.
Is to look for it?
Yeah.
But here's my theory.
To want it.
Here's my theory, and I'm going to tell it to you because I've had this theory a long time, and I've said it out loud. That I think that, when you guys dated, when you left or when you broke up or however it went down. That
we were both terrible at being boyfriends and girlfriends.
Okay, but he was heartbroken, and I believe that it defined. No, I think this is a benefit. I believe that heartbreak in his life is what defined him as a comic. That after that, despite the fact that there was unhappiness, that's where he really took off.
Well, you're welcome, Dave.
That's my theory.
God forbid that's true.
Oh, you don't think so?
Well, I don't think that's the deepest truth, but I think that he might see it that way and, earnestly. But I think if he were to, he was a great comic when I met him.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But he didn't smoke and he barely drank.
Right.
But now I hear he's I hear he's sober. He's real, and he certainly isn't any less funny for it.
No, he's a great guy, and I wasn't trying to bring up something that's weird. It's just this theory I had that that when he got when the shit hit the fan emotionally, that really turned him into this kind of
well. What do we have here? A girl making a guy funny.
Yeah, exactly. That's good, right?
Yeah, but it's all bullshit.
It is. It's bullshit. All right.
No, who knows? It was a lifetime ago. I can't.
Isn't that weird, though?
Take
it is
responsibility
a lifetime ago.
for the person I was.
I remember, but when you were 19, though, I remember the way that you told jokes and the way that your style. I mean, you've become a much better joke writer and you're much funnier, but you were still who you were. Don't you ever listen to yourself at that age and go like, "I'm pretty true to myself"?
I saw a really early evening at the Improv or something, and to me it was like, oh God, but there were some things that I still have now that I was surprised, just mannerism-wise or whatever. But it was a little kind of like cutesy-wootsy thing too.
Yeah, you're not like that at all anymore. You're not cute at all.
I mean, I feel like I am turning 40 this year, but I mean that's not possible because what 40-year-old would wear jeans with faux suspender?
Those aren't even real suspenders?
Non-operational suspenders hanging.
They don't go up over your thing?
No, I guess they do go up over my thing.
I'd like the listeners to know that James, the assistant, is still here.
No. Why, do you want him to leave?
No, I'm fine with it. I just want
anything you have to say to me, you can say to James.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering, is he there to go, Miss Silverman's not going to answer that question.
James is my assistant, and it's crazy that I have an assistant, but he was my assistant when I actually had a busy, crazy life that Comedy Central paid for him to be my assistant, and he had lots of things to do, and we had long days, and there was a lot of work to be done. I'm in a transitional period right now. I'm not really sure what I'm doing next or what's coming next, but I kept James because I don't want to lose him, and we just kind of sit and stare at each other all day, and I think about maybe there's some sort of drink I might want that I could easily get myself, but
do you ever just sit there and when you're staring quietly at James, just sit there wondering, what am I going to have James do now?
Yeah, sometimes I have to really almost just make things up for him to do, or sometimes he'll say, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And I go, "I don't know. Do you have friends you want to have a lunch with, or are you working on any kind of spec script you need to work on?" And he's probably done he's written 2 great spec scripts, and he's working on a screen right now. No, for spec.
Which shows?
Whatever.
I know, but TV
Oh,
scripts?
he did a Sarah Silverman program, and he did an American Dad, and they were both great. He's got an agent very interested in him, and he's young. He's going to be like a big comedy writer, and then someday he'll write about his days with me and how much he learned. Right. James?
I have learned a lot.
Have you learned a lot from Sarah? You have learned a lot. What, James?
Oh no.
About me or about Sarah?
What have you learned from Sarah Silverman?
Yeah.
Well, both microphones. I've learned, I don't know, just to continue working on what you're passionate about and to work hard, and things do not come easily all the time, and surround yourself with positive people, and, you know, all kind of bullshit. All the cliches, they're all true.
Wow.
That's a lot. I've taught him cliches.
You brainwashed him. He just was looking at me like dead-eyed almost.
He's sat here while I've done, like, you know, when you do like 1,000 radio interviews in a row, and I start getting like self-conscious, like there's a person who's hearing me repeat 18 things.
That's right, where they go like, okay,
organically.
You're on with Jenny and the Sandman in Cincinnati, Ohio. Like that shit, and then like you do your bit, and then you're like, okay, this is Washington D.C. The host name is Jackie, and the other guy is the Beanhead. Yeah. Is that like that?
Yeah.
What are you doing now, Sarah? Are you worried?
I don't know.
Are you freaking out?
I'm kind of not worried.
What happened with the show?
It got canceled.
That's it? Was there a fight? Was there a reason? How
No.
did they tell you? Because a lot of times they don't tell you, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we canceled your show."
Well, I mean, there were 14 months between 10 episode seasons, and we had no momentum. They really are. And when I say retarded, this is not to be offensive to the mentally challenged, but literally what the word retarded means.
Yeah.
The people who were running Comedy Central were that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I'm a perfect person, but it just seems like there are obvious moves they could have done business-wise that could have helped. And the second, like, they literally, after the first episode aired and didn't do well in the ratings, this last third season, they took off all the reruns. So, I mean, my TiVo only TiVo'd reruns because I was TiVoing something else when my show was on. And all of a sudden I'd go to watch it or show it to my beau, and it would be like a stand-up special or Stephen Colbert, or
right.
like they replaced the reruns right away, when certainly they should realize that people watch the reruns first, you know, like,
so
people are watching it on all different airings.
So they were like trying to just erase you from the network completely?
I have no idea. They told me that subsequently. They're like, well, we took off all the reruns, you know, real fast. And I was just like, oh, that's a great move.
Why would they do that? Because they didn't want to risk having people say, where's Sarah? When's she coming back? I mean, why the fuck would they take reruns off? That's like revisionism. Like Sarah Silverman show never existed here.
I have no idea. And it's the kind of thing, like, you know, when you have like, or in movies, or in real life, a guy, you know, a kid who has a terrible, you know, not a good relationship with his father, a strained relationship with his father, and then somebody who works with his father says, "Oh, your dad is so proud of you," and the kid's like, "What?" You know, like, things would get back to me about them, like, talking about the show or bragging on the show in meetings where I'm going, like, are you kidding? Like, from our perspective, we were like such an unwanted stepchild on that show. It was bizarre that
this was after they
valued
canceled
us in any way. No, all throughout.
And even now they say that about your show? Like they had no control over it?
I don't know about
canceled?
now. But it was funny when they called to cancel. I mean, I knew we were canceled. It wasn't a surprise at all. And, you know, as people, I like them, individual people. But as a faceless corporation, they're garbage.
But the individual people that run that faceless corporation, this garbage,
Gary
are okay.
and Ken called me, and I was just laughing because, I mean, it had been months, and I knew, you know.
But how did they say it? I mean, how did they say it? These are people
we're
we've
calling
known
to
forever.
say you're not picked. I go, okay. And they said, but we hope that you would consider, you know, working with us again in the future. And I said, I can't imagine that ever happening.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I was just laughing. Like, why would I do that? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Do I not learn from experience? That said, it was a fucking awesome experience.
Yeah, it was a great show. People liked it.
I got to make a show with all my favorite people and my closest friends, you know. So it was a blast, but the business side of it is just a bummer, you know.
And the book is Bedwetter.
The Bedwetter.
The Bedwetter. Were you a bedwetter?
Yeah.
That's what it's really about?
Yeah, I was a bedwetter till I was like 16.
Holy shit. Yeah. And that's like right after you stopped peeing in your bed, you started doing comedy?
Yes.
Like literally the year you're like, I guess it's time to start comedy now.
Yeah, the first time I did it, I was 17, yeah.
I remember that. You lived in a building kind of like this at NYU.
Oh, 300 Mercer. Jeff Ross lived in it.
I just like when I drove up here. I'm like when I'm driving here because I've never been here before. I'm like, she lived in one of those groovy Hollywood kind of apartment buildings, and I drive up. I'm like, oh my god, it's like her NYU apartment.
I know. It's I moved here because it felt New Yorky, even though in New York I never had the opportunity to live in like a big fancy high rise like this. I lived in a 5-floor walk up.
Right. But that was when you were a student though. That place, right?
No, that place. No, I only went to school 1 year.
Oh. And you quit.
But I was college age, and my friends were still at school, so I felt like I was still there.
Yeah, but I remember that apartment.
You
kinda.
went to BU with my sister Susie.
Right. I did go to BU with your sister Susie, and then Susie became a rabbi. Mm-hmm. And then your other sister Laura is a comedian, kind of a comedy
Yeah, she's
writer.
an actress, comic actress.
How does fucking Susie a rabbi?
It's not that different. I mean, I guess it is. Like, I don't
Are you
even know
guys
if she
close?
believes. Yeah, she was just visiting. I love her. She's amazing. It's weird because I don't think of her as super religious. I'm, of course, have no religion, but she doesn't like talk about God or anything. You know, she's more into like the ritual of it all.
Does she have like 9 kids?
She has 5 kids.
That's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they're not Orthodox, or are they?
No, they're not Orthodox.
They just like having kids.
They're just She's always. Even when she was little, I remember she was one of 5 kids.
Really?
Yeah, but we only have girls in our family, so she had 3 girls and adopted 2 boys. It's the only way you can get boys.
And her husband was a campus radical, as I recall.
Yeah.
Joseph, was that his name?
Yosef.
Yosef Abramowitz?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was like Noam Chomsky when I was in college. He was a guy like
Divest Now,
and like hunger strikes and stuff. I don't remember, but he was notorious.
He's total.
Is he still like that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But he's doing this really cool project they're doing in Israel, where
Are they in Israel?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're Jewing it up major.
Are they like in a settlement kind of thing?
They were in a kibbutz for like 2.5 years, and now they're in Jerusalem. I still have never been to Israel.
When are you going to go to Israel?
I don't know.
That's a documentary,
I
Sarah.
want to go, but I just I'd rather not. I'd rather watch Law and Order at home.
I know. I went to Israel once. I don't think I'd ever go back.
Really?
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, it's so great. It's so safe. It's so safe."
They just want you to go. That's just
it's like people who get married and have kids and go, "You have to get married and have
Right,
kids," because
yeah.
they don't want to be alone in it.
And killed by Palestinians.
Well, Susie made fun of me because
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to be blown up. I don't want
Yeah.
to be in a cafe that explodes. And she's like, that's just all you hear.
Right.
And then she would like call me and go, I heard what happened at Virginia Tech. Are you okay? You know.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It is a good point, but at the same time, Israel's the size of Delaware, so it's not
Virginia Tech.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I get that. They want Jews who like to go to Israel and believe in the idea of Israel and returning to Israel like for other Jews to go there.
Yeah.
And they think that we're going to go there and go, oh my God, why did I wait so long? I'm moving here.
It is kind of interesting to see how the kids are growing up there because, they Hebrew's like their first language and
Isn't that amazing?
they're,
When kids
super
can speak
savvy
language.
and like you can be so independent there. You know, it isn't like local news, terror everywhere. It's just like kids just like kind of go out like when we were kids
Right,
and come
and
home
play.
later,
Yeah.
and they're all really, the 15-year-old just, has like,
Oh my God, she's got 15-year-old?
she has a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. Those are the 2 oldest girls, and the 15-year-old just got kicked out of camp for dealing pot and got a
sweet.
tattoo of a heart on her boob.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the rabbi's daughter.
Isn't that always the story?
It sure is. Are you going to have kids? Do you want to?
Maybe adopt someday. But
Yeah.
I want it to be like when it's all I want, I'm
it's just-
crazy about kids. I love them, but like I love my life. I love being totally free and whimsical, and I don't think you could do that necessarily with kids.
No, because that's what kids usually do.
But I figure I'll wait until I'm like really young grandma age.
Like 60?
Yeah, and be like, oh, all I want now is to like raise a kid or 2 and then just do it.
Yeah, I think you can do that now.
You know?
I don't think I'm going to have one. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think I think a lot of people have like a weird feeling of guilt over not wanting kids, and it's just it's a silly, weird social pressure that's bizarre.
That's the weird thing. I don't ever think like, oh my God, I need them. Where are they? How come I don't have them? I fucked up my life. Every once in a while, I'll think when I see another kid, another one, as me being a kid. When I see a kid, and now as I'm older and I don't feel threatened by them because of their need for attention, I find that I interact with them, and it's fun, and I like it for a few minutes. But I usually leave the interaction not going, God, I need one of those. But,
yeah, I love kids so much. I love playing with them. I love spending time with them. But I'll tell you, after a good half hour, I'm ready to do my own thing. So I'm waiting for that to not be the case anymore before I have a kid. I'm not want to do. That's not a hasty thing. I think a lot of people go into that and they're real hasty about it. They have kids because they're trying to keep a man, or they're trying to fix a marriage, or they're like for all the wrong reasons, or they turned 30, or they turned 39, or they, it's just like,
or they just think they're supposed to.
There's plenty of kids out there.
Enough,
you don't
there's
have
enough.
to. You don't. Nobody needs you to have
Stop having
kids.
them. Yeah, there's
you have
enough.
a kid if there's all you can do.
We're
And
all
you know
filled
what?
up.
It's crazy because people want to have their own kids, and yet those same people go, don't buy dogs from a breeder, don't buy dogs from a pet store, get them from the shelter. Well, I agree with that, but that you get kids from a shelter.
Yeah.
There's way more kids at the shelter than dogs.
Sure. Yeah, and you can just go down to the shelter and walk around and pick one and bring it home in a little box.
Yeah, any color, any shape,
Yeah.
any kind of disability or non-disability.
One with 3 limbs.
Yeah.
Some people get dogs with 3 limbs, and they're very proud of it.
Yeah, or one eye.
Yeah, 1 eye.
Yeah, there's kids like that are humans.
You can get them. What's the next big plan? Are you are you doing a movie? Are you talking to networks?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm first of all excited that like anyone wants to do. I didn't know if there was anyone, if I'm still
People still love
vital
you.
to
Yeah.
others or whatever. But
Right. A commodity. A
yeah,
marketable thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I guess some people have shown interest and stuff, but I just don't know what I want to do, and I kind of don't want to do anything unless in my heart, I know it's awesome. I'm not saying I'm afraid to take a risk, but I don't want to do anything I'm wishy-washy about. I just want to do it if I love it. In the meantime, I'm going to work on my stand-up. I just did a movie that I think is going to be really good, although probably no one will see it, but like a small, cool movie. And I have no idea what's going to be next. I don't know. I'm dreaming. I'm just sitting at home and dreaming and not feeling shitty about not knowing what's next, but realizing instead, and get ready because I learned this in therapy, that we're just looking through a pinhole and we don't know what the fuck's coming up next. So instead of going, oh my God, what if I never, have another show? What if I do, what if? You don't have to predict what's going to happen. What's going to happen will unfold. The future's going to happen whether you predict it or not. In the meantime, why don't you sit there and realize that everything that's happened to you so far, you have not been able to predict. So just know that whatever's coming is not anything you're going to know right now. If you go, oh, there's nothing out there, there's no opportunities for me, that's how it's always been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're looking through a pinhole and we don't know what's
right.
out
and
there.
Also, you got to stay open.
Yeah,
And you
stay
got-
open. That's a good one too.
Right, you got to stay open for you got to be available for the next good thing to happen.
Yeah, so I'm not just sitting here waiting, but I'm sitting here and just kind of dreaming.
Yeah, and-
In the meantime, I can work on my act, which I'm like totally starting over with.
And you're not sitting here going, I'm fucked.
No, the lucky thing for me is I feel like I have whatever's going to happen in my hands. That's always been used to be kind of my complaint, nobody's looking for me to be in something, but I kind of like doing my own thing, and I always have a video camera on my couch to take to if I want to. That's the great thing about media right now.
Yeah. But do you think that now, as you write your new act, are you going to do another one-person show? Or
I
you
don't
just
know.
You don't know?
You know what? Smart comics,
Yeah.
like let's say our friend Louis C.K. say, I'm taping a special in 8 months, so I have to write a
An
whole new
hour.
act
Right.
in 8 months.
Right.
Or for him, 3 months. I don't
Right.
know. Nothing. It's nothing
Right.
to him. He's so prolific. And I work really slow. I'm not prolific. And I actually, when I have a timetable or a deadline, I make it, so I should probably do that. I've been a lot more disciplined, and writing the book actually helped me with that a little
It's
bit.
amazing, right? Writing a book that you have to. Deadlines are amazingly helpful.
It becomes your job. You know what I mean?
You get up and do it every day.
And I did realize, like, gee, if I spent 3 hours a day working on my act, I would have a lot more material a lot faster. But I'm a lazy fuck, like all of us are. But I am starting to be a little more.
Do you work
disciplined.
like that? Do you write jokes?
No, but I'm starting to. You know, like, you know what I did is, like, whenever I have like a show at Largo or show UCB or something, I'll go, all right, I'm going to take today and I'm going to go to some hotel lobby and sit with a legal pad or my laptop. And because I'm around people, I'm going to have to look like I'm working, and it forces me to get something done. And that night, I'm always happy I did.
Yeah, I find that, like, you know, it was weird. I did an interview with Judd Apatow, and he brought some of those recordings of him interviewing comics when he was 16 years old. Oh. They're great. It's up now. You can listen to it. And he had one of Shanling. And Shanling was talking about his process. You know, little 16-year-old Judd was asking Shanling about writing jokes. And Shanling basically said that, you know, here's some joke I'm working on now. And he told a joke. And then he started talking about how a lot of times a joke could evolve over a year's period of time. And me as a grown-up, now I was like, that was so good to hear. Because I have jokes that I know that the setup is there and I know that the first beat is there, but they might not become full jokes for another year.
That's my biggest laziness is I'll have a 2-sentence joke or a 1-line joke that could easily become a 8-minute chunk if I put fucking 10 minutes of work into it.
Yeah.
And I just have like an act, you know, I think like in my last act, I could have had, you know, four acts worth of shit if I spent any time on any of those, you know, 3 joke chunks. I could have,
why don't
you
we
know
do
what I mean?
that, though?
I
That's
watched
like-
Tig Notaro.
I love Tig.
She does a joke. She attacks it from every possible angle. And a joke that could be 1 line turns into 12 minutes. It's inspiring, you know?
Why don't we do that? I don't know why I'm bringing me into it.
I agree, but you know what? We can.
But it's not laziness. That's something weird. It's something different. It's an obstacle. We like the thrill of getting up there and making it happen on stage or seeing if we can find something. Like there's something about writing jokes out where it dies on the page for me sometimes. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, but I like writing jokes out, you know?
Yeah.
Personally. Like, I mean, I can't write it like a monologue. I mean, it becomes whatever it is on stage, but I'll write like a page that becomes a line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before it gets boiled down, I'll write the long version and then I'll do the short version.
Yeah.
Which is like did you find when you're writing your book, it's like the opposite. Like when I started writing, everything was condensed because we're so used to boiling everything down to the nut, and you have to kind of learn to unlearn that and flesh things out.
Yeah, it was a little frightening writing a book because I was like intimidated. Like I don't think I'm a book writer, so I got very self-conscious about it.
Right, you start writing the way you think writers write, and you try to sound smart, and then you go, who is this person?
Yeah. Did you when they sent back your edited galley with like the marks on it? Were you like, I'm a fucking retard? Like
No.
mine was so full of red marks. Like I didn't know basic grammar stuff. Like I felt like a moron.
Well, personally, grammar has been pummeled into my brain by my mother, so that wasn't that. But I would send it to my editor, and he'd send it back in the revision mode, and like we did it like that. So when I got the galley, it wasn't.
Yeah, this was like a edited proof or something. It
I
wasn't the
found
galley.
mistakes, and maybe it's because I'm so anal, but I'm just. This is not going to be popular with the people at HarperCollins, but like, you know, when you write a book, you go, oh, book people, they're so hoity-toity. New York literati, you know, people with walls of books and ladders, you know.
Right.
And they're buffoons, just like in Hollywood. They're fucking buffoons.
People just moving product. Those days are over. The age of integrity and Norman Mailer and the New York literati, gone.
Yeah. Well, it kind of lives in some podcasts and some websites and some McSweeney and stuff.
Yeah. Your mom was a teacher?
No, she just was like, she was like Diane Chambers, you know, she says like when and where. And I remember one time Jimmy had Kelsey Grammer on his show, and my mother's like, oh, I'd love to meet Kelsey Grammer. We both are so passionate about diction. And I'm like, he's not Frasier, Mom.
Oh, my God.
Well,
How's she doing?
People think she's doing great.
She in New Hampshire still?
Yep.
That same house?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 2
minutes from my dad and my stepmother.
And she's doing okay, too?
Who?
Your stepmom?
Yeah. She sends my dad over to my mom's house to get his toenails clipped.
Your mom clips your dad's toenails?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
It's sweet. My
So
mom
everybody
is,
gets along?
sickly, and she was in the hospital for like 3 weeks, and my stepmother visited her every day.
So were they always friends?
Yes, no, but when I left the house, I was the last one to leave, and something happened, and my dad actually blames it on this, like
Yeah.
they didn't like each other really.
Yeah.
And then my dad said, I want to drive you to college when you go. And I said, well, Mom wants to take me. Why don't you both take me? And he was like, no, you have to decide. And I go, you know, fuck you. You decide. I'm not going to decide between my mother and my father. You're being ridiculous. Like the first time and he said it like jolted him into reality. And like they've been friends, and now they're like, they've become like, they're like brother and sister. They're like army buddies.
Huh.
You know, like they went through hell together a lifetime ago, and they just love each other so much.
That's amazing to me that your parents are friends.
It's really sweet.
And your stepmom's friends with your mom.
Oh, it's so sweet.
It's fucking great. You never hear those stories.
My mom got really sick and she has this really rare disease, and this happened in like 93, 94. And my stepmother, who's terrified of needles and very like can't look at the sight of blood, is her blood type, and she had had her blood transfusion for my mom and gave for my mom. Yeah.
Oh my God! And that was before they were friends. Like,
well, they were friends, and they
Right.
weren't enemies, but they weren't, you know.
It's interesting.
And now they love each other.
Oh my God, that's so touching.
Yeah.
And they now how?
Oh, my mom is so sweet. When I was just home in
Yeah.
July, we all go home in July.
Yeah.
And we were,
All the kids.
yeah.
Susie with her kids and Laura.
Yeah. Laura actually came a different time with her boyfriend like a couple weeks later, and they get scattered, but we
Yeah.
all go home when Susie's in the States with the family.
Right.
And we were all at my mom's outside on her porch,
Yeah.
and my mom's new neighbors were over, and she was introducing them to my dad and my stepmother, and she said, this is Donald, my ex-husband, and this is Janice, his beautiful and incredibly patient wife. It was just so cute.
And what happened to your mom's dude?
He died 2
Oh,
years ago.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was
I remember
really
that
sad.
guy. I for some reason the trip I took with you to New Hampshire, I still remember it. I remember them, but I remember your mom. I remember him because he had a beard, and he was really thin and he didn't talk much.
Us and my mom have never seen his face. And she
Really?
just found an old high school picture of him, and we were like, oh my God, that's what his face looks like.
What was his name? Jim? Or
John O'Hara.
That's so wild.
He's just the kindest, goodest man that ever existed.
He's a sweet guy.
Oh my God. As a matter of fact, my niece, Eliza, at his memorial service said the cutest thing, because she's like a total comic book girl, you know? And she said, when I sat down to write something to say about Grandpa Johnny, I felt like Lois Lane writing Why the World Needs Superman.
Oh my God.
Isn't that the
Okay.
fucking sweetest thing you've
I'm
ever
gonna
heard?
start crying.
I know. And then this guy got up and started talking, because it was
Yeah.
in the paper,
Right.
whatever, local paper.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've known John for 40 years, and I used to see him every 3 weeks, and blah, blah, blah. And people are going like, who the fuck is this guy? Nobody knows who this is.
Yeah.
It was his barber. That's
The
sweet.
guy who trimmed his beard and his hair. No one knew who he was.
We're like, who the
That's-
fuck is this guy? Was he having a gay affair?
That's hilarious. Now, how do they all respond to? How does your mom respond to your act? I know it's probably a hacky question, but
Well,
you got to figure with all the Hitlers and rapies and everything. Does that?
she every once in
appreciate
a while
it?
she'll say, Sarah, I just don't like it. I have a very visual mind. Or she actually doesn't really like anything about her, which is hard because, you know, there's so much I'd love to say about my mom. And it's funny, and I think maybe she's seen Oh,
You want to take it?
No.
Oh.
Now that she's seen that my dad is like a celebrity now from my book and my act and my TV appearances, like I'm hoping that she'll soften to the thought of me talking about her because, they're characters.
Do you
It's
talk
fun to be
about
able
them? Are you really honest about them in your act?
Yeah. I like to be, but I don't want to,
Hurt
I don't want to
anything.
upset her or anything. But even though the stuff I want to say about her is stuff that people would find adorable, and great, she doesn't like the feeling of like maybe she's being made fun of or something, and I don't want her to feel bad. I want her to love it. My dad eats it up.
Well, Dad's will eat it up, even if you're talking badly.
He
about
doesn't
them.
care.
Yeah.
He's not. I don't think he could repeat a single joke of mine to anyone because when he comes to see me, he's not watching me. He's looking and he's marveling at the fact that strangers are laughing at his daughter. Like he'll never get over that. The first time he came to see me at Boston Comedy Club, by the time I got on, it was like 12:30 in the morning.
Right.
And he was sound asleep and blocking the aisle because he was like hunched over to his side. And remember Jocelyn? And she was like, you have to wake up your father. He's blocking the aisle. And meanwhile, I'm like, I'm on stage and looking at my dad who's never seen me do stand-up and he is sound asleep.
Oh, that's so sweet. But now he just likes the attention. He likes the attention you get.
Yeah, he loves it all. He just like, he's such a... He's so easy, like he'll come visit and we'll just like kind of trade off taking, hanging out with him and just like taking him on errands with us and he'll be like, what a great day. Oh my God, I'm such a lucky daddy.
That's so nice. My dad's he likes that I do what I do, but I think he now wants to sell my CDs in his pain management clinic. I don't think that's
He has a pain management clinic?
Yeah, he's like a strip mall pain management clinic.
Like a holistic,
Well, I don't know what he's trying to get into preventive medicine. Like, he's into vitamins now and he's into physical therapy and he's really sort of like a proponent of preventative medicine and he's been working in this pain clinic operation. And now he's like, I just think we should have your book and your 3 CDs, next to the vitamins in the pain management clinic. That's the next big step
Why
for
not?
me. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. Now that I say it out loud, comedy records at a pain management clinic, it makes pretty good sense. He's always trying to get me to be like, why don't you be
because laughing's the best medicine.
That's what I hear. So you've never offended any members of your family. That's nice.
No, I mean, there was. It's so funny now because it's such a nothing joke comparatively. I used to have a joke about a million years ago.
Yeah.
About going to the blowing a dentist.
Yeah.
And it's so hard because they're always asking questions when their penis is in, and you're like, so are you going to school?
Yeah.
And she was like, I have a very visual mind. Please, I don't do that. And I don't know why, but I dropped it because she didn't like it. And
would you ever do something on stage that's more like the book? In the sense of something that was really sort of specifically autobiographical? Or
on the book tour, I did some readings, but I tended to do stuff that got laughs. So like a lot of the chapters aren't like that, but so instead I did the thing, I didn't write it all, but I just transcribed a bunch of my dad's voicemail messages. So I read them like with his accent, and it gets a lot of laughs because they're nuts.
It's amazing. Like sometimes I read my mom's emails on stage, and they're just great.
It's
Is
just
that
amazing.
fair? I guess it's fair game. We didn't write it, but they created us, so we're entitled.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to perform live and do something that you can't measure with laughs,
I know. Yeah, because it's hard to justify it to yourself other than failure. Right?
Remember when we had a band?
Did we?
We didn't have a name, but it was like me, you, Todd, and Louie.
Oh, yeah. For like a day?
Yeah. It was for one day, and we were like, yeah, we have a band.
Yeah. How's Todd? Have you talked to Todd?
Yeah, he's great. He just did a movie with where all his scenes were with Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's like a vampire. He's got like full prosthetic face and everything, but
Really?
he completely looks like he sent me a picture of it.
Oh my God! I'm gonna have to interview him in New York.
Yeah, he's doing great. He got a new place for we used to live in the
Get
same
outta here.
building, and he lived in that building for like 19 years.
He's not on 2nd Avenue anymore? No.
No, I moved around the corner.
All right, so I guess we're about good, Sarah.
All right.
Do you feel good about it?
I do. I want to show you this Todd Barry. Look
picture.
at this.
Oh my God!
I know, it's like a face over his face. It's all makeup and prosthetics, but it looks totally like Todd at the same time.
It's like Todd's lower face.
Oh.
Oh my God!
So cute.
And that's his real eyes and everything. What's the movie?
Yeah.
And Sigourney Weaver's?
I
don't know?
can't remember. All I know is the scenes are with Sigourney Weaver.
Well, we are all looking forward to everything you do from here on out,
Thank you.
and everything will happen in a good way.
Thank you. You
And
too. You look, every time I see you, you look better and healthier and younger and
Oh,
happier. Ah, that's going to be Tall John. Let's record your reaction to his 6'10"ness.
Okay.
It's going to be anticlimactic because you're probably like,
I don't know what 6'10" looks like.
6'10" looks like this.
Oh my! Oh, I know John.
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Hi, Mark.
It's good to see you.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
We're just wrapping it up.
finishing up.
How are you? I'm great, thank you. Is this?
It's on, yeah.
Hi.
It's Tall John. I've met John many times,
I told you.
but I guess I didn't really think about 6'10". I was anticipating, like someone who had to, like the ceiling would have been, you would have to be like this in the ceiling.
Look.
Well, these are 7-foot doorways.
Right, I literally pictured like the guy from the Guinness Book of World Records book.
I
But no,
told
but
him
you-
that you said like you know what it's like to be famous because you're like, when
But
I
you're-
walk into a room, everybody looks at me.
But you're proportionately,
Me on the podcast.
you're well proportioned and an
Listeners should know that.
yes, and
Yeah, he's well proportioned. He's
and a
not
very
like
attractive man, not freakish in any way. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
successful, attractive, strong,
yeah.
and good. He's a good man.
Are we doing like are we soliciting? Do you need a?
If you
woman?
are a woman with any kind of tattoos, with maybe a black dyed hair with a red lip, or
Yeah.
a blonde thing, any kind of suicide-looking girl
that's who he.
who is a woman of substance, who's not defined by her tattoos, but hell, she's got a sleeve.
So that's what you're looking for. That sounds
Do
good.
you know, I was thinking of you because Alec and I saw they have Suicide Girls, the show on Showtime with like nudity and everything. And I was like, oh boy, Tall John might like this show.
You're attracted to the Suicide Girl look?
I do like that.
Yeah. Do you like real Suicide Girl looks, like with girls with cutting scars or any of that? No, just the.
I mean, don't rule it out, but I don't look for it. Not a deal breaker.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. This is Marc Maron. This has been WTF. I'm so glad you enjoy the show. Please go to WTFpod.com. Get on the mailing list. Donate a little money because I want to keep doing this for free for you. And based on your donations and generosity, go to WTFpodshop.com and get some of the new premium episodes. The one with the tell is spectacular. That's the latest one. And go to punchlinemagazine.com and check out breaking comedy news, if there is such a thing. And what else do I have to say? Ah, yes, justcoffee.coop. Those are my plugs for today. Again, I'm leaving Texas tomorrow, so I should be okay. Take care, good night, and good luck. I think someone's done that before. Right? Someone's done that before.